Reading with your kids.
Hey, so great to see you. Come on in. Hi, my name is JRenee, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast in iTunes #1 kids and family podcast. Thank you so much for subscribing to the show on iTunes. And if you haven't already, please do so immediately. And if you haven't already, please go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com, and become one of our very important families, and you'll receive a free digital download of my brand new book, Love That I Matter. We have a great guest on today. Her name is JRenee Hiemerman, and she is here to talk to us about the ABCs of Rose.
This episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast is brought to you by The Great Maritini, the delightful new children's book from JRenee. The Great Maritini is a fun and touching story about Sam, a lovable but far from perfect magician. He is known throughout the land as the Great Maritini. Despite his many onstage mishaps, Sam never gives up on himself, and as a result of that grit and resolve is able to dazzle audiences with his amazing transformations. Sam also has a kind heart who cannot walk away from anyone in need, and soon learns that the greatest transformation is transforming feelings of caring into action to help another human being. The Great Maritini is available exclusively as an ebook from Amazon.
Joining us right now, she's hails from Eastern Tennessee, but tonight she's talking to us from North Carolina. She is the author of a really, really beautiful new picture book called The ABCs of Rose. Please welcome to the show, JRenee Hiemerman. JRenee, how are you?
Hey guys, I'm great. How are you?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. It is, well, you know what? JRenee, we were talking about weather and everything. My wife and I just picked up my wife. She's a teacher, first day of school, and we just drove home through a torrential thunderstorm here in Boston. It was crazy. But thankfully it's breaking some of the heat. We've been in like 100-degree weather the last couple of days. The summer ended and the heat goes up.
Yep. North Carolina, it's been nice and hot, but today I walked out and it was not as humid, so it felt great. Yeah. But of course, we may have a hurricane coming next week, so you never can tell.
Keep our fingers crossed. I guess we are seeing more dramatic weather, but we're also hearing more about it because of the internet.
Yeah, of all the social media and the news outlets and all of that. So you hear about things much faster and easier nowadays, which is why, things like what we're doing today can be spread out to the world really quick and easy. So.
Absolutely. And I want you to take a minute to tell everybody through the magic of the internet and social media, tell them all about the ABCs of Rose.
Well, the ABCs of Rose, here she is. It is my first baby. It's my first book. And I know it's kind of weird to say, but Rose is me, but Mom is me too. So Rose is kind of me as a child. And, Rose is smaller than everyone else, and Rose wears glasses. I didn't wear glasses as a child. I didn't get that until, middle school. But, she gets teased on and everything because she's, little, and her mom teaches her a way then to improve her own self-esteem and to learn to disregard what the bullies at school are saying to her. And so the game that they come up with is the ABCs of Rose, where they go through the alphabet looking at all the great qualities she is. Instead of her being four eyes or a squirt or a loser, she's a dancer, she's an artist, she's brave, all these other great things instead.
What a fabulous idea. I love that. And I mean, I think it's applicable to somebody in my life right now, and she's not in elementary school. She's in college.
Well, and I had a 30-something-year-old did a book review for me. She wanted to do the review. She goes, I don't have any kids, but, I'd love to review your book. And I was like, sure, I want to hear from all ages. And she went, oh, my gosh. She said, I relate it to this book, and there's activities in the back to help reinforce the lesson and fun things that you can do. And so she did some of the activities. She goes, I learned something from the book, and I forget, she was 30-something. So she said it's not just a children's book, even though it is a picture book. Mm-hmm. It literally is a book for all ages. I have done readings with kids that were 2 years old that waved to the big screen because I had her up on the big screen and they waved to her at the end because she has her hands out like this, and up to I don't know, 30, 40, 50. I'm in my 50s and I love the book. So,
yeah.
There's no age limit.
One of the things that I say, and I didn't realize that somebody, when I was in my late 20s, somebody gave me a copy of The Velveteen Rabbit. And at first I'm like, oh, what do you telling me I'm immature? What's the deal here? I act like a 4-year-old?
Why am I getting a kid's book? But there's a huge lesson in that book.
Yes, absolutely. I read the book and I was really moved because it's like there were absolutely lessons there. And it sounds, I was, making a joke, but, there's somebody in my life right now that I care about an awful lot, and she's going through a tough period, and because of some of the choices she's made, she's not feeling really great about herself, and when I'm talking to her, she's like, I'm this and I'm that, and I'm like, no, you're not.
And everything she said was probably negative. She didn't come up with anything good that she was.
Absolutely. Yeah, so, I'm on the other end texting her, no, you're not there, you're this and this.
Well, the book uses the premise of I am, and any word that you follow after the word I am is going to affect how you feel. So if you say, oh gosh, I'm so stupid because I did that, or I'm so ugly, or I'm this, or I'm that, it's going to bring you down. But if you choose words that are empowering, like we do in this story, then it's going to lift your spirits, and it's going to help you see that, oh gosh, I'm not that. I may wear glasses, but that doesn't make me 4 eyes. It gives me perfect vision instead. So, you have to, it is truly a shift in how your mind is working.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately we tend to go to the negative before we look at the positive. Just like, if you review a restaurant, you're going to talk more about it if it was bad than if it was good a lot of times. And unfortunately, we do that to ourselves. There's so much negativity that we see out there that our mind just goes to that first. And so I'm hoping this book's going to help shift that as kids and adults get to read it and hear the story.
That's one of the things I do, and the people who listen are tired of hearing me say that I do educational magic shows, but I do. And, one of the topics that's been so popular for me to address is the issues of bullying. And, I think our understanding of bullying has evolved, or our understanding of how to deal with it has evolved to going from simply saying, don't bully, to inspiring the kids who are seeing it to do something and say something. And it's really important for us to tell the kids who are targeted by bullies to say something, to get some help. But I also think you are teaching kids something that we've kind of forgotten, and that is the whole idea of not letting those words hurt, and putting and not letting others' opinions of us drag us down.
Right. We can't let it affect our self-image.
Yeah.
These little kids, they think they're Superman, in their capes, these little boys and girls, super boys, super girls. They think they're great, they're super, all that good stuff. But then as they get older, they get influenced by, what other kids are saying and doing, and they start, thinking poorly of themselves. And it just gets worse as we get older. I mean, I struggle with it. I have to remind myself I may have made that mistake, but that doesn't affect me as far as, who I am and what I am. So I messed up on something. So what? That's what life is. You mess up, you learn from it, you go on.
Yeah.
So you can't beat yourself up.
Amen. You just reminded me of something, for years, and when I started doing my presentations in schools, I would get these beautiful letters of recommendation and box fulls of letters from kids, and it was great. And it got to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, wonderful. Yes, I'm great. Okay. Thank you very much.
I'm great.
And then I got one note from one guidance counselor in a school that was negative, and it destroyed me. I mean,
I got a 4-star review today instead of the 5, and I was like, oh, somebody gave me a 4-star instead of the 5. I just had to lick my wounds a little bit, and a 4-star is not bad for an Amazon review.
That's
she didn't
great.
say anything bad about the book, but it was a 4-star, not a 5.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, that's just the society that we have nowadays, that you have to be perfect, and you can't be perfect. You can't always be, and you have to learn that. So it's like, I have a good book.
Mm-hmm.
It got a 4-star from this person. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got 5 stars from the other 10 people that reviewed it today. So
right.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Such important lessons for us to teach our kids, and what a beautiful way to teach it through the power of a picture book.
Mm-hmm. I think what I wanted to do is simplify it. I've been a self-help guru, for many, many years, and, wanted to get into that market, and had actually done a workbook that was a 12-week, self-help course where, it helped people who struggle with depression, but never could really get it off the ground. And I thought, not that I don't want to help the grown-ups, mm-hmm. but if you start as children to learn these things, then, it's the generations that come that are going to benefit from that. So, these kids that are in the preschools and the elementary schools now, if they can learn this lesson, think about how much better adapted they're going to be for life when they get out to the real world.
Sure.
So, because they're going to have those self-coping skills, because nobody has that anymore.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point. We're seeing, and I think a lot of young people are getting a bad rap, and it's unfair, but we do hear an awful lot about young people who are just falling apart
mm-hmm.
at the first, it's the first obstacle that they encounter.
I know. Well, because they've been so coddled all their lives, and they don't know, especially once they leave the nest, and, I hate to say it, but they're going off to college or out into the real world, and they don't have mommy or daddy taking care of everything for them, and, fighting their battles for them. They're having to learn to do that stuff on their own. And, unfortunately, you don't just have to teach them how to cook and wash their clothes. They need to learn to emotionally take care of themselves as well. Mm-hmm. And I don't think any of us really got a lot of education in that. But it seems like it's gotten worse and worse.
Yeah. And it's beautiful that you've decided to use the medium of the picture book, because it's such an interactive experience mm-hmm. with kids and parents. And, we dedicated the Reading with Your Kids podcast to inspiring parents and caregivers to read with their kids, and not to stop once the kids learn how to read by themselves, but to continue to read and co-read mm-hmm. and talk about books. And this is just such a great opportunity. I'm imagining a parent and child sitting down, and boy, that must have been terrible. How do you think Rosie felt when these kids talked to her that way? And mm-hmm. how would you feel? And do you know anybody who's had that, who you've seen that happen to?
I was going to pull this open. Uh-huh. The back of the book actually has open discussion points, so that way we can have, that discussion. And, you may have a kid that's going into middle school that's dealing with some things, but, it talks in the discussion points about exactly what self-talk is, and what you're doing to yourself when you do that, and the connection between words and how they have feelings, and, identifying words that are making you feel good and words that are making you feel bad, and how it is that others feel when you use those words towards them. So it opens up the dialogue and gives them some talking points with their child besides just reading the story. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side of the back of the book, it has activities that they can do. And it may be something as simple as picking a few words to describe yourself and drawing a picture of yourself feeling that way. One of the things is taking the letters of your name and making words to describe yourself. So like I'm JRenee, so I'm joyful, romantic, energetic, nice, elegant, and excited. Ooh. So I took the letter of every name. And so, there's lots of little things that you can do. And it was really neat when I was in the review process of the book. I had a mom send me a message about a week after she had reviewed it. And, she'd done one of the activities with her kids. And she wanted to send me a picture. She said without prompt, and they didn't have the book. They only had a PDF version. So she read it to them off her phone. Mm-hmm. So the little girl, who I think was 7 or 8, didn't have the book to go back to, but she remembered it because they talked about it. And about a week later, she said, I wanted to just show you what my daughter did without being prompted. And she had done a book or not a book, but a picture. And she had put I am, and I think she said beautiful, and drew a picture of herself. Beautiful. And she said, your book has had an impact. Wow. And I was like, awesome. That's the kind of stuff I want to hear, that she had an impact.
Yeah, that must be such a rewarding experience for you as an author.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's good to have a cute story, but I want the story to impact their lives in a positive way and not just go, oh, that was cute. And it, I want there to be a lesson that they can take with them, not just tomorrow and next week, but for the rest of their lives.
Excellent. Well, I know that you're making an impact on kids' lives right now with the ABCs of Rose. And you also have a really cool website. Can you tell us where folks can connect with you online?
It's just, and my name is tough, I know, and I struggle with, do I do my name or do I not do my name? But it's JRenee Hiemerman Books.com. And if I had it to do over again, I'd probably shorten it a little bit because I can't fill in all the spaces on some things. But it's JRenee Hei, M as in Mary, ER, another M as in Mary, AN, the word books.com.
Yes.
And that's where they could get an autographed copy of my book. That's the only place to get the autographed copies unless you're seeing me at an event or something. But when you do the book, that's the hardback version. There's also a paperback version that's available on Amazon. But when you order through my website, besides the book, you get a bookmark. And on the back, it has a place for you to do your own ABCs list. So that way you've got that to do. You get a little rubber bracelet, one of those little rubber ones, and it says I am, because you always want to start your sentences with I am, and then it has my website address on the back in case you want to order more books. And then I also just have a little information sheet that just kind of helps them through the activities, and I include a couple of activities. This one is not in the book. It's one that is quick to do that I do with the preschoolers especially. We fill in something to describe them in each ray of sunshine and then let them color them. So when I do school visits or daycare visits, we do an activity. And then the other one is the picture frame so that they can put at the top what they are and then draw their picture. So I include those goodies in there when you order on my website. Now, you can order through Amazon, but you don't get those goodies.
Yeah, that is really cool. And one of the things I noticed on your website that I really loved a lot is that you feature some artist of the month, artwork that was sent in by kids. That is so cool.
Yes, anybody that wants to be put up there, they just need to email it to me. There is a place on the website for them to go to upload their artwork. It's not going to go straight to the website. I was going to let them do it straight to the website, and my designer said, no, you're not going to do that. But you might get something on that website you don't want. And so, my mind is being sweet little boys and girls pictures and not thinking that anybody would do anything ugly, but that's okay.
Yeah. Wow.
So it'll come to me, and each month then, I'll choose, half a dozen or a dozen so. To put on the website, and I'll randomly choose one, and that's you see on there a little girl named Adeline who thinks she's beautiful, and Adeline is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And so her mom took a picture of her doing her drawing, and so her picture of her drawing and herself in there are included. But anytime I can try to do any on-site visits and things like that, I'll be putting stuff up there, and just trying to make it interactive so that way kids can see what other kids are doing. And you don't have to be a kid. If you're 40 years old and you want to draw a picture, please draw a picture and send it to me, and you'll get on there too. I don't care what your age is.
That is wonderful. Well, I love it, and I have a feeling because your website is called JRenee Hiemerman Books, plural, books.com. So I think there are a few books in the works. Am I right about that?
You are correct. Number 2 is at the Illustrator right now, and it is it's teaching the same lesson in the Rose book, but it's a little boy that's having some self-esteem issues. I wanted kids to, not everybody's going to relate to Rose, and so I wanted to do it from a different perspective. Rose is teased at school, and that's why her self-esteem's really low. This little boy couldn't play basketball in gym class, so he thinks he's stupid because he can't play basketball like everyone else. So his self-esteem issue is from something totally different. Mm-hmm. He is embarrassed because the kids laughed at him because he couldn't play basketball. But his mom teaches him the same concept, and of course their list is very different than Rose's list because Rose is a little girl and, Tommy is a little boy, and so, they like different things and they have different ways that they look at themselves. So I've tried to give the same lesson taught 2 different ways, so that whether you've got a little daredevil boy that's doing, jumps on the wheelies on his bicycle, or you've got the sweet little girl drawing pictures, either way, hopefully they can, somebody's going to relate to it.
Absolutely. And even if you have a daredevil little girl, she may be able to relate to that boy.
Exactly.
That boy
so, the boys I may have some boys relate to Rose, and I may have some girls relate to Tommy. Lord knows I was daredevil enough. I was a tomboy growing up, so I did some of the Tommy things myself. So,
okay.
But that's why I just wanted to give a variety, because there's more than one way to teach the same lesson.
Absolutely. Well,
so I wanted to do that.
Yeah, well, you've done it, and you've done it very well in the ABCs of Rose, so we want everybody to check that book out and also check out your website. JRenee Hiemerman, I'm so happy you had a chance to be with us tonight. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And if you do have Amazon Kindle Unlimited, it is on the Kindle Unlimited plan right now, so they could download it for free to preview and see if they liked it, and then order their autographed copy, or they could order just straight through Amazon for the paperback or hardback.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Elwyn Autumn. She'll be here talking about her brand new book, Kamila Chung and the Classroom Bully. Hey, if you are the author of a great children's book, and we know we have lots and lots of authors here listening to the program, and we love that. And we love helping authors tell the world about their great book. It's really, really hard to get noticed because there are thousands and thousands of new books published every year, every month. With the Reading with Your Kids podcast, you have a chance to let thousands and thousands of people all over the United States, all over the world, know about your great children's book. We have the podcast. We blog about it. We send out dozens and dozens of tweets and Facebook posts and LinkedIn posts and Google Plus posts to our tens of thousands of followers on those social media platforms. Being a guest on the Reading with Your Kids podcast, it's fun, it's easy, and it is absolutely free. Imagine all of that visibility for free. We also have some great promotional programs. We have our Reading with Your Kids Certified Great Read program. We can also design a custom-made promotional package just for you. You can check it all out at our website, readingwithyourkids.com. Be sure to click on the contact button. Let me and my producer Fatima know all about your great book. We'll let you know how we can help you tell the world about your great book. And the world wants to know about your great book. Hey, I want to thank JRenee Hiemerman for being here today. And, of course, we want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to read with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.